Lando, congratulations. I guess it wouldn't be a Lando if not a fight without a little bit of weirdness. So give us the idea what the experience was like today. I mean, going from the Fight Pass prelims to the co-main event of the card. Give us an idea what your day was like.
Um, I mean, it's becoming kind of normal. My debut was a co-main short notice. And my fight with Tamer was co-main on 24 hours notice. I woke up this morning, was getting ready to go down to the bus, got the word, and went back to sleep, and just another day.
Talk about your performance tonight. I mean, you were able to dominate with grappling. I mean, did you kind of have an idea that was going to be the idea going in, or was that the game plan, or did you figure it out kind of on the fly?
Yeah, we kind of had a game plan to go in, take him down, and do our work on the ground, but just wanted to let it come naturally, just flow with it. We know we had good stand up, but I got good stand up too, so I had no problem exchanging in the striking, but looking to take it to the ground once it presented itself.
Can you just talk about what this result means to you? I mean, you talked about your journey and how it's been more than just fights and fight results, but getting this victory, what does it mean to you?
Everything, man. Like, I was backstage beforehand. His song was playing, and I'm out there just looking at the arena. And I was like choked up. I was almost at tears. Just, I love this game so much. I enjoy these moments so much. And to go out there and get back in the win column was an absolute pleasure.
Last thing for me is you say you wanted to fight Jim Miller. I guess why was that the fight that makes sense? And is there a time that makes sense? I mean, how soon would you like to be back in action?
Um, yeah, man. I've been a big fan of Jim Miller since day one, and I think be a real fun matchup. We're both from the same area of the world. We're both into the same thing, so it'd be an honor to share the cage with them. And I heard Cowboy and Conor are supposed to fight this summer or something. So whenever they get theirs booked, I'd like to get on the same card. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everybody. Tonight was a sellout, 15,238. The gate was 2.5 million. That's U.S. The fight of the night was the main event. The performance of the night went to Devontae Smith and Montana De La Rosa. So congratulations to all of them. They all won $50,000. Who's got the first question? What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Dana? Obviously, a crazy day for you, I'm sure. First and foremost, can you tell us the latest on Rob? We saw that he's out of surgery, but what can you tell us about his
Yeah, that's
condition?
it. He's out of surgery, and basically what they told me was his, his colon and his intestines had popped out. And they don't think that he didn't do anything yesterday, so they don't think it was anything that he did yesterday. They think he's had it for a while, and it's been popping in and out. The scary part is that if he took a shot to the stomach while that was he could have died. I mean, he could rupture the colon, and you become septic, and that's not good. So, everything happens for a reason. This worked out. It's great the way this worked out, actually, to find out that this kid had this problem and was unhealthy, and we were able to get it fixed, and they think he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. I was talking to Matt Damon tonight, and he disagrees. He said he's had hernia surgery, and anybody who said 4 to 6 weeks is ridiculous. That's not right. So we'll see how this thing plays out for Rob. I don't know.
With the late shuffle, of course, you had to offer refunds. You said it was a sellout, but, I mean, do you know what kind of financial impact it had on the gate? I mean, were there returns and resales?
Were you at the fight tonight?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Did you see an open seat?
I didn't.
I love Australia, man. This place is insane. It's awesome. No, the fans are incredible, man. They showed up. There was a big sign out in front that said, the main event is off, and you can get a refund on your tickets if you want. And people didn't want a refund; they wanted to see fights. So, place was packed. You'd have never thought the main event was gone. So incredible.
How about pay-per-view wise? I mean, I imagine it couldn't have been great for pay-per-view sales. Do you have any indications?
The pay-per-view wasn't bad. The pay-per-view wasn't bad at all. So it was a good night. I didn't sleep at all, but other than that, it was a great night. Yeah, it worked out. Everything worked out. You listen. At the end of the day, you're going to hear people who bitch, and there's going to be people that don't want to buy it, and they don't have to. But most fight fans want to see some fights, and we did really well considering what happened to us.
Yeah. No doubt. Last thing on this situation, of course, we got to see how long Rob is going to be out. But does Kelvin keep his place as the number one contender? I mean, is he guaranteed the next title shot or whatever happens? I mean, is he involved in it?
Well, we have to see how this thing plays out with the champ and see how long he's going to be out, and you know what I mean? And we'll go from there.
Nice. And then just lastly for me, can we get your thoughts on the main event, how Israel Adesanya looked? I mean, a big win for him over a legend. But what did you think of his performance, and where do you see him at his position in his career?
It was fun, man. That first round was like a kung fu movie, It was a fun fight to watch, very fun, with two guys who are incredibly talented. I was saying yesterday, any odds makers that makes Anderson Silva 7-1 is out of their mind. I mean, the guy is always taking care of himself. He's a great martial artist, and, that was a fun fight. But Israel went in with a sold-out house tonight. A lot of pressure on him to go in against the guy. Anderson's 42 years old. He's supposed to go in and beat Anderson. But those are the kind of positions you're in that you got a lot of pressure on you when you go in. Anderson even said, all the pressure's on him. There's none on me. And it was a fun fight. I think he did a good job against nobody. I don't know how people can't give Anderson Silva the credit that this guy deserves. 7-1 underdog. He's a crafty veteran. He's very talented. He's got knockout power. And if it went to the ground, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and has submitted a lot of guys who are great jiu-jitsu, black belts. So people are nuts counting him out.
Dan, I'm just wondering, with Israel, he did a great job during Fight Week, did a lot of interviews, has a lot of skills when it comes to promotion. I'm just wondering your thoughts on him compared to some of the other rising stars that we've seen in the past, guys like Conor McGregor, other people in the UFC.
Yeah, the kid's got it. I mean, he's got that. Not only is he talented in the octagon, he's talented outside of it too. His interviews are exciting. He's an interesting guy. He's fun to watch. And I think he's got a really bright future here.
Calvin was in the back with a belt on his shoulder. I'm just wondering your reaction to seeing Calvin walking around with a belt today at the event and sort of ringside.
That was Cejudo's belt that he borrowed. Yeah, it was cute.
Just finally, I mean, you mentioned that it was a sellout, and people didn't refund their tickets. A couple of times we've tried to have champions defend their title here. Would you be open to having Rob possibly defend his title in Australia in the future, possibly in 2019, 2020, if he's still the champ?
Australia is where he's from. This is the motherland for him, but it hasn't been very nice to him. This country, he hasn't had the best of luck here. Yeah, we'll see how the timing plays out on this stuff. But listen, I'll come to Australia every weekend, man. I love this place. The people are incredible. The fans are amazing. Except for the guy that wrote "fuck UFC" over on that street the other day. Except for that guy, this place is great.
Hey, Dana, I was just wondering, sort of historically, in terms of the events here in Australia, it's usually been pay-per-view fight night, pay-per-view fight night. Do you think because of this situation, one of the blessings could be that maybe the next event is a pay-per-view here in Australia? I'm not sure sort of what the future schedule is and when to come
I don't
back.
know. I don't think that's a strategic thing where we're going pay-per-view fight night. But, if you look at the fights that we've brought here so far, I mean, this fight tonight that happened and the main event was supposed to happen. We brought Ronda Rousey here. To this day, Mark Hunt versus Bigfoot Silva is one of the greatest heavyweight fights I've ever seen, and it was insane. Every time we come here, the fights are really, really good. I believe it has a lot to do with the energy here in Australia and the fans, and fighters feed off that, man. They do. This is one of the funnest places in the world to come fight.
And just to clarify that question, I meant if Rob ended up on the next card in here, because obviously if Rob's defending his belt, surely that's not going to be a fight, no?
I know, but we're laying out, as we lay out the year, we have most of this year laid out already. And I don't think one of those was Australia to come back with a title fight. But who knows? Maybe we add Australia again and try Rob again for a third time here.
Just in terms of Israel, as far as what's next, do you think there's any chance that he sort of gets this title shot over Kelvin Gastelum? I know there's unfinished business there, but at the presser there was talk that this was for the number one contender spot.
I think it is. This was for the number one contender spot, but we got to see how this plays out with Robin and how he's feeling.
Just last one for me, Jimmy Crute. You're obviously very high on him at the press conference. What did you think of his win?
I think he looked damn good, and especially against a really, really tough guy. I think there's only been 3 people that have ever finished him out of 40-something fights. So I didn't agree with the stoppage. I thought it was a bad stoppage. A lot of those shots were hitting him on the arm, but he was obviously hurt. But the fight could have gone a little longer. We could have saw a little bit more Crute. Bad stoppage, in my opinion.
Hey, Dana. In the cage, Anderson said he'd like to fight in Curitiba, Brazil, later this year. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We're still working on that card.
And what sort of person would you put him in there against? Obviously, this Israel fight sort of sold on their styles, but who in the top 10 would you like to see him up against? Who makes sense for him at this point?
I don't know. Tuesday we'll have a matchmaking meeting, and I'll have to look at it and figure it out.
And your thoughts on the Conor McGregor link? That Conor tweeted out he'd like to fight Anderson. It would be an honor.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like that fight at all.
Fair enough. And just to clarify, Kelvin was back here. He said that there'd been some talks, but he received some payment for today, right?
What? Who?
Kelvin.
Kelvin?
Yeah.
He has not yet. Yeah, but he will.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Dana. So
Hi.
I just wanted to know what you thought about Montana De La Rosa's fight against Nadia. And then when she was back here, she said that she wanted to fight Paige Van Zant. And I just want to know what you think about that match.
Yeah, I like it. And what I thought about her, she got $50,000 tonight. So I thought it was great. She looked dynamite tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
There's a lot of uncertainty in a number of the divisions, and in this middleweight division is now a FITSAC characterization as well. Do you think at any point the UFC would consider outlining specific criteria for determining who the next number one contender is, specifically because you guys call yourself a league?
I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, you did in this fight, but it tends to be rare, and it seems to be a lot of uncertainty. We go into these fights.
How does it tend to be rare?
Well, like lightweight's a good example.
Okay.
Where Ferguson won the interim title and then was stripped, and now we're not sure.
He got hurt.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing that he won the title.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying that a lot of fighters feel like they fight for a number one contender fight, win, and then something else
Right,
happens
but
a
it's
month
all
later.
based on who's healthy, who's ready to go, and who's not. Because the machine has to keep rolling. We have X amount of fights every year, and if you can't defend, listen, when you win an interim title, it means you're next. If you can't go next, it means you're out and somebody else goes next. I think that's the criteria. That's what we always do.
All right, thank you.
Disagree?
I think a lot of fighters disagree. I mean, we hear a lot of
Fighters
talk about
disagree
that.
with everything I say. I'm not asking if the fighters do. Do you disagree?
I would disagree with that, yeah.
And why? How would you disagree with that? So Colby Covington won the interim title. He was next. He couldn't fight. He turned down the fight with Tyron Woodley. So what am I supposed to wait for Colby Covington to show up and fight? That's not how it works. Tony's next. He's got the fight. He's got the belt. Trips blows his knee out and has to have, reconstructive knee surgery. We're going to wait for him? No, we're going to move on.
But Tony Ferguson fought on the same card as the unification fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib. So he
Yeah.
was ready to fight for the undisputed title.
Right, but he missed his opportunity. We already made the fight. He was out.
Okay.
Now he'll be next. You're wrong, sir.
Sorry, Dana, just on interim titles, Khabib spoke about maybe taking a break till November, and Cowboy Cerrone was here talking about a potential Conor McGregor fight. I'm just wondering, what's the lightweight division sort of look like for you at the moment? And if Khabib does sit out till November, would you actually entertain the idea of bringing in an interim title?
Well, like this gentleman just said, I just said, guys can't sit out and wait that long when you have the title. You can't do it. So if that's true and he's going to do that, then we'd have to figure out something else. And you start looking at whether it's Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, or, one of these other guys. Whoever wants to, when opportunity knocks, answer the door. And we'll see how this thing plays out. That's the criteria. I'm just messing with you, man.
Dana, someone who definitely doesn't want to sit out is Ben Askren. With his attitude and the entertainment he's already brought to the UFC now, particularly on Twitter, even though he hasn't already fought, do you wish you'd brought him in a little bit earlier?
Say that again. Askren wants to fight. He wants to fight everybody. Am I looking to do what?
Do you wish you'd brought him into the UFC a little bit earlier?
Oh. No, I think right now is the perfect time. Seriously, I think right now is the perfect time. Listen, this guy cruised around and he fought in different promotions, and he's 27-0 now, and he's here, and people are excited about him being here now, and let's see what happens.
And one more for me. Obviously, China and Japan are bigger in your plans. How about Southeast Asia? Is there any plans to come back there in 2019?
Off the top of my head, I don't know the answer to that question right now.
Cool.
All right. What's up, buddy?
G'day, Dana. How you going, mate? A lot of the, just straight up the back, mate. A lot of the local fighters always ask me, directly straight in front of you, Dana. We're up with the cameras, buddy.
All right.
There
Oh,
we
yeah,
go.
gotcha.
A lot of the local fighters are always asking me, what's the pathway to the UFC? Is there a certain promotion that you tend to look at locally, or is there a way that we can tell these guys exactly what they should be doing?
Yeah, if you're out there fighting in one of these organizations, no matter where it is, if it's out here or anywhere else in the world, and you keep cracking off wins, and then you beat somebody that we think is good enough to fight, then we'll definitely take a look at you. And right now, the best way to get into the UFC right now is either looking for a fight or the Contender Series. So. And the Ultimate Fighter. All three of those are coming back this summer, so there's plenty of opportunities for guys.
Dana, Kelvin and Israel both took a shot at Rob tonight in their own interviews for not turning up to work.
Yeah.
I wonder what you make of that.
Listen, the guy got hurt. He's a human being. His colon and his intestine popped through his stomach. I think we can give him a pass on not showing up to work, and I'm glad that he that it happened, because they think it's been there for a while and they think it's been bothering him for a while, and he didn't realize what it was, and super dangerous. This is something legit. This is something real. This isn't some bullshit like some of the guys recently who have turned down fights. This is as legit and as real as you can get. And his family was fighting with him because he didn't want to go to the hospital till 5 o'clock this morning. He was actually going to fight, push through it and fight, and thank God he didn't. So, yeah.
And,
There's guys out there that you can ridicule. Rob Whittaker isn't one of them.
I was going to say, you mentioned too before about the show's got to go on. So obviously, around the middleweight division, there's a lot of guys who want to fight for a belt. How long would you want him till he's back?
Well, hopefully this thing's only going to be 4 to 6 weeks, according to the doctors. So, you know, he's in great shape right now. They said he had the best camp ever. His cut was easy. Everything was perfect. And then this thing happened to him. So he's in great shape. And let's see how long it takes him to recover from this. And we'll make something as fast as we can.
Dana?
Yep.
Kai of France and Shane Young over here.
Yep.
Kai of France and Shane Young both had great performances tonight on the prelims. What did you make of them?
Yeah, no, great. Great fights. I mean, there were some really good performances tonight. And, yeah, I thought he looked good.
And those two and Israel are both from New Zealand. Is there any possibility of returning there this year or in 2020?
To New Zealand?
Yes.
Well, look at Israel now. I mean, yeah, everything's
Plus
possible.
Kai and Shane and Dan Hooker. There's a bunch of guys there now.
I agree. I mean, you know the answer to that question. The answer to that question is yes. I mean, this part of the world right now, I was saying this the other day, you know, when we first started coming over here and building this market, you know, we had Elvis Sinisic and Perosh. You know, those were like the only two guys that I knew of that fought. Now it's blown up so much. Not only are there tons of guys fighting, there are tons of talented people here. You know, people who are gonna climb up into the ranks and possibly become world champions someday. So this is a great market. I mean, if you ever, I was talking about the market the other day when I was doing all the PR leading up to the fight. If tonight didn't prove what an incredible, amazing market this is, nothing will. You know, the main event with the Australian champion falls out, and this place was packed like nothing happened to the card. It was awesome. Love it. I'd literally come here every weekend if we could.
Hey, Dana, right in front of you.
Yep.
Now, I just want to go back on the Jimmy Crute and Sam Alvey fight. Now, I thought that was interesting because I agree with you, it was a bad stoppage, but Jimmy Crute tried the walk away. What did you think of that?
No, the ref screwed that up too.
Yeah.
The ref jumped in there, and he thought the ref was breaking it up. The ref did a really, really bad job. Real poor refereeing in that fight. And, you know, when something like that happens, it could have cost Crute the fight because if Alvey got back up and, you know, and then he goes to stop it too soon, then he stops it too early, in my opinion. It happens sometimes, and, you know, it sucks for Sam.
Were you surprised about the crowd reaction in the main event? Because there was a lot of silver chants out there when Israel. I thought there would be more support for Israel, but there would seem to be a hell of a lot of support for a legend.
Yeah, I don't, because I think I think everybody respects Anderson Silva so much. He's in there at 42 years old and 7-1 underdog and all that stuff. You know, it's hard not to cheer for a living legend.
Now.
And I don't think it doesn't mean that they don't like Israel.
No.
It's just,
it's
Anderson.
It was a bit of a split because as soon as the silver chant came in, then an Izzy chant came in, so it was a weird one. When the main event got pulled, we were obviously all disappointed, but how did the decision for Venata and Mariano to move up to co-main event, how did that come about?
Because the guys called me from Vegas and said, what do you want to do? And I said, this is a no-brainer. Lando it's a no-brainer. Tell me the last shitty fight you saw that kid in. It doesn't exist. The kid's an animal. I love the way that kid fights. And that's the thing. He had said something to me about being on you know, I'm on Fight Pass, but you're the main event on Fight Pass. You know what I mean? What people don't realize is there's actually a marketing budget for Fight Pass. So all the attention goes to him. Then there's a marketing budget for the guy who headlines ESPN, right? Then there's a marketing budget for whoever headlines and co-main events pay-per-view. So everybody gets a shitload of money spent on them. So we make sure that we put the best guys or the ones that we think are going to put on the best fights in those main event positions. That's how that works. So it's no disrespect. If you end up on Fight Pass, there's a lot of money being thrown at your name.
Just a final one from me. Anderson said after in the octagon after his fight that he wants to go back and fight in Brazil.
Yep.
Is Silva versus Weidman 3 something you'd be interested in?
Yeah. I mean, I'd do that fight again if they both wanted to do it. It's a fun fight.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Hi, Dana.
How are you?
Very well. Are you able to rule out at all in the next 3-4 months of ever stripping Rob of the title?
To rule out stripping him in the next 3 months? No, he's going to be better in 4 to 6 weeks. When we have a guy who blows an ACL or says I'm going to take some time off or things like this, those we look at how long the guys are going to be off. Then we look at whether these other guys should have to wait. Time is not your friend in this business. So when one guy decides he wants to take time, it's not fair to everybody else that is in there grinding and fighting. So Rob is looking like 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see how his progression goes, and we'll go from there.
Would it hurt you more stripping him than you have with some of the other strips you've had to do?
It's never fun to strip somebody of the title. It's never fun. They worked hard to get there. They went through a lot of shit to earn that title, and it's never fun to take it away from anybody.
Last one from me. At the end of the first round of the main event, when the crowd was losing their mind, right at the end of the first round, everyone jumped to their feet. And I think you and Matt Damon were the same.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us what you were saying to each other? When
That
all
was just
chaos
like, holy shit. We were saying what everybody else was. This is awesome. What a great round. It was like a kung fu movie. It's fun to see two super talented guys, the up-and-coming kid and the living legend, go at it like they did. Fun. And when you think about it, we were talking leading up to this fight how Anderson always wanted to fight a clone of himself. They really are a lot alike in the showmanship and the talent and the way they fight. And you really saw that in the first round. Any other questions? I cannot stress this enough. Thank you, Australia. Thank you so much, you guys. See you next time.
What's up, guys?
Congratulations on your victory this evening. Just want to get your thoughts overall. I mean, obviously, Honey's a durable guy that wasn't going away easy, but what did you think about your performance in there tonight?
After every fight, I don't know why I'm so disappointed in myself. I always feel like I can perform better, but I think my coach Fabiano Scherner we put together a great game plan, and I feel like we executed it. I feel like that's something we do great is we're able to dictate where the fight goes, and we knew where Ronnie wanted the fight to go, so we were able to negate that.
Overall, pretty dominant. You did get clipped once. I wonder kind of how bad you were hurt there, and if you were surprised that he had the kind of power to hurt you.
No, he wings shots. And when you go out there, sometimes they land. So, but I felt fine. I knew he landed. It was more of he was feeling it, so he was storming. So I just had to kind of weather that a little bit.
Such an interesting position for you because, I mean, that's a veteran that's been around for a long time. You're still new in your career, but here you were, main card of a pay-per-view. You get a dominant win. So what should come next for you? I mean, are you on a fast track to the top of the division? Do you feel like there's still time for you to develop? I mean, what should come next for you?
Yeah, I'm new in my career with the UFC, but, I mean, I'm 15-1. I mean, that's a pretty good record at this point. I'm hoping I'm taking that 15 spot, breaking the top 15, and I just want to keep obviously there's stuff I need to work on. I want to keep improving with my coaches, and I think by the end of 2019 at least being in that top 10.
Any more questions? You're good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Anderson, I know this was a very emotional week for you all week long, and now that the fight is behind you.
Wait. Okay. Oh, all right.
Good to see you. I know this was a very emotional week for you. You know, you got a little choked up at the weigh-ins and all those things. Now that the fight's behind you, how are you feeling right now?
Wow, I'm feeling happy. You know, it's very difficult to continue fight in this sport in the same level when you don't train hard. I training hard, continue the same level. And tonight I try to do my best for all my fans and for myself, you know, because I love this sport.
Yeah. It was fun to watch. I mean, the technical expertise of both of you in there and what you were doing was amazing. Can you talk about, you know, Israel's skills and maybe what surprised you or how you felt he performed tonight?
Well, Israel is very fast, is young, have the great future inside the UFC. I talked to Israel about something, so please keep straight your focus. Don't lose your focus because you have amazing talent. Just keep doing. And this has happened, you know. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I'm very impressed. Because it's a two generation inside the cage and great show for everyone. You know, I'm so happy.
And lastly, I think people were impressed with your skills as well, that you were so even with a younger guy. You said you want to fight in Curitiba. What kind of fight makes sense to you? Are there names, you know, things that you want to accomplish or a name that you want to fight? What would make sense for you in Curitiba?
Well, now because the last time when I tried to fight in Curitiba, I have problems and I take the series very fast and I come out the card. And now I have a chance for fight in my city, you know, when everything start. And I talked to Ed and talked to my team and maybe I think makes sense fight me and Nick Diaz in Curitiba. You know, let's go see. It's just waiting for Dana, you know, because it's not time to make the good decisions or not. And hopefully I go fight in Curitiba.
Anderson, just right here. You didn't get the win tonight, but you put on a pretty masterful performance. As you can tell, the crowd was going pretty crazy for that. Were you happy with your performance tonight?
Yeah, I'm happy. Of course, I'm very. I'm working very hard for win, but I'm happy to my performance. You know, I talked to my team about that, and everybody talked to me and say, "Don't worry, it's good. You know, let's go back to home and start training again and continue your legacy." You know.
And the whole crowd was chanting your name in there. What does it mean to know that you have fans on this side of the world that really support you?
Wow, I'm very happy, you know. I'm very happy. I'm very lucky because I'm working my entire life for this sport. And when I see the people, wow, I'm very lucky.
Thanks.
Just over here, Anderson, up the back. I'm just wondering, you mentioned Nick Diaz's name. What interests you about doing that rematch?
Wow, because I think is a very interesting fight because the last fight with me and Nick is no contest. And I talked to Nick, I talked to manager Nick for a couple months ago and about this fight. And Nick say, okay, let's go do it. Let's go talk to Dana and let's go do it, you know. Let's go see. I don't know. I just waiting for Dana as to... You know, it's too early for talking about that, but hopefully I fight in Curitiba.
After the fight, you said some stuff to Israel. I'm wondering, what did you say to him? Because you're a big hero of his, and he bowed down to you and showed you respect after the fight. What did you say to him in the octagon?
Wow, I say thank you for give me more energy and inspire me to continue my sport and doing something special for everybody inside the cage.
And just final question from me. Chael Sonnen had a bit of a joke. He tweeted out that, I want to fight Anderson Silva and Israel can move up and fight Kelvin Gastelum. I just want to get your reaction. Did you see that, and what did you think when
I
he
don't
put that
see,
out?
I don't see. But I respect Chael, Chael give me the great opportunity for doing the great fight in the story of the sport, And everybody talking about Chael, but Chael is very smart and a good fighter too.
Anderson, you've spoken in the past about how you sort of like the big fights, and you've expressed interest in this in the past. Conor McGregor tweeted out after the fight. Did you have a chance to see what he said by any chance?
No, I don't.
He gave you a lot of compliments, basically calling you a pioneer, and he said that it would be an honor. I think he's insinuating he would like to fight you. What do you think about that?
Well, I first of all, I respect the champ, and the second one, I think in this point in my career and Conor career, it's a very interesting doing something special for the fans. I think the super fight, me and Conor, is a very interesting, and let's go see. The future is inside UFC is very interesting because everything's changed fast. But, I'm ready back to fight very soon.
I was going to say, Conor seems to really want to fight in Brazil, and you want to fight in Curitiba. If the UFC wanted to do that fight next, do you think that would make sense to you? Would you rather Conor over Nick Diaz, if it was possible?
Wow, both is the great fighters. Both is the very interesting fight for the fans. Hopefully, I go talk to Dana. Hopefully, Dana doing this, because that's very important for me, fight in my city, when I start martial arts and doing something special in Curitiba for my fans,
Anderson?
Okay, I see you.
Hey, before the fight, it seemed like you didn't really want to make any comparisons with Israel. Now you've fought him. Would you like to say what similarities you do see in him, in yourself?
No, it's the completely different game. Israel is have a different game, and wow, I'm very impressed because Israel give me good challenge inside the cage. For a long time I don't feeling the same challenge in my life, but I'm very impressed. I respect Israel. He's a young guy, have a great future inside the sport, and hopefully come to fight for the belt and win.
Anderson over here. Can you just tell us about how it was communicated to you that you would be fighting in the main event? Was it just something that they said to you and you agreed to, or was there any suggestion that you might do a 5-round fight? Can you just tell us how that occurred?
Yeah. When I stay in my room, I saw in the internet. I said, "What?" And the first moment, I just call Ed and say, "What happened to Whitaker?" Because this has happened to me, and I'm sad in the first moment. And I say, "Okay, it's my job, but hopefully Whitaker stay okay, because I know this is not good, because especially when you're training for 4-6 months for fight for the belt and for protect your belt, and this has happened, Hopefully Whitaker come better and better.
And did they offer you a 5-round fight, or was that not discussed?
No, never. For me? No, but the people never talk to me. Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Hey, Anderson.
Hi.
Given that some fans thought you were going to retire if you possibly lost the fight tonight, and given how you
Retire?
did, yeah,
Of course not. Of course not.
But yeah, given that how you performed tonight, what were your thoughts about that?
Wow. I don't see the fight, but when I see the fight, I go talk to you about that. But I think it's not too bad, you know, especially for one man, 43, for a young guy, you know. I think I'm not fight too bad.
And I really do have to ask, did you ever go swim with sharks while you were here? Yet?
Yes, of course. I go swim for the sharks, but inside the cage.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Bye. Oh, sorry. I using the glasses. I take the glasses to my coach because, you know. Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right. Israel, congratulations on your victory. Such a technical matchup in there. I mean, watching the two styles play out was incredibly entertaining. How did you feel about your performance this evening and your execution?
I have to have a look at the tape. It's for a fighter. It's really hard to assess myself just straight off the bat and just you know when I'm still working right now, you know, and I've said this before. Like my first time when I'm alone is in the shower right after the fight, and there's no outside influence, and I get to be alone with my thoughts and download everything so I can really assess how I feel first, and then after that I might watch the fight and just see, okay, how did I look? But main thing is I had fun in there, like I said I would, and I showed off, and he's a good dance partner, so I feel like fight of the night was well deserved.
No doubt about it. Talk about your emotions. I mean, we saw you get a little choked up at the weigh-ins, of course, and, this is somebody you admit that early on you patted yourself after, so.
Why do they fill these up? It's silly. It's annoying. I just feel like, what, props? Because I'm trying to have a drink. Oh, water's good, though. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. But give me your emotions. Now that you've got this in the bag, you've got the victory. This was an emotional opportunity, a big opportunity for you. What is the feeling like for you right now?
Feeling. The best way I could describe it was like being in a twilight zone. So when I get to download my thoughts alone, then I can kind of like, oh. But one thing is that was cool. That was cool as fuck. Like, just, even when he caught one of my kicks, and I knew he was trying to catch it. And, like, I tripped. And as I was getting back up, I was like, all right, here comes the flying knee. I've seen this many times. And I just slid to the left. And I was like, I've seen this too many. And he tried so many tricks that I've seen. Even when I made him faint and he'd react like, like, say, example, if he react with his hands out, then he'd just bring it back and do the hand kung fu shit. And I'm like, my man, I've seen these too many times. Even like UFC 112. Abu Dhabi with Damian Maia, he's trying to bait him to strike. Like, come on, throw your biggest shot. So he put his hands down and like even put his back against the fence. That's how Bisping got caught with an up kick. I'm not stupid, I don't think I look stupid, but I'm smarter than I look. But yeah, hands down, getting punched in the face with some measly strikes, and they expected me to throw a big one. Like, oh. I'm like, dude, it was cool. It was cool, just a cool experience. And I said after the fight, everyone else plays it on EA Sports, and I get to play it in real life with the real dudes. So I win.
And last thing for me, I mean, this was a very crazy day with the way that everything unfolded. I mean, you had this kind of 2019 year mapped out for yourself. What do you think should happen now? I mean, we got to wait and see what's going on with Rob, but, I mean, do you feel like you should jump ahead of Kelvin Gastelum now? Do you feel, I mean, what do you think should happen next for you, especially as it relates to the title situation?
I'll put it this way, 3 ways. First, in the short term, a shower. I really, really want to just be alone with my thoughts. Secondly, well, if you look at the YouTube, even just the numbers itself, like the official countdown on YouTube, last I checked, it was like 300,000 views. Rob Zorn was like 300,000 views with Kelvin. And me and Anderson, I'm pretty sure our one would have been past 1 million by now, 1 million views. So we've known who the people wanted to see for so long, and even Rob said he didn't care. Good. Now the pay-per-view points, where do they go? What happens to them? I'm just wondering. Just maybe I have to sit down with Dana and Mick and talk, because that's a lot of money being left on the table, and it just stays in the hand of the dealer when I've done my bit. I showed up to work. Unfortunately, it was out of Rob's hands. It wasn't in his control. The controller was in player one's hand. And I showed up to work today. I clocked in. I came in early to watch Shane and Kai do battle. And then I'm staying late so I can, do all this stuff as well. So I'm working my ass off. And I feel like, man, I don't know what the buy rates are, because it wasn't really my main event. It wasn't really my shit. They put me in the fucking regular hotel. I didn't get the main event suite either, so shower's not that big. But, the pay-per-view points, in the medium term, I'm looking at those like, what happens to them? Maybe me and Anderson can split those, because we put on a good show. We go fight of the night. And that's a lot of money being left on the table. So we'll see what happens with that. And in the long term, I'm the #1 contender. I'm the guy fighting for the belt. Or I don't care, Kelvin or Rob, whoever it is, I'm fighting for the belt. Whoever has the belt, because I see Kelvin walking around with that belt, and I don't know who gave it to him or if he got on the stool to get, I don't know, whatever. Like, just, I'm fighting for the belt next. That's all I know. I did my job. I showed up to work.
Just curious, Israel, obviously Dana White's in town. Do you have any plans to catch up with him before he goes back over to the States after your fight?
We always bump into each other in the most odd places. So, yeah, it'll happen again. Destiny. This whole week's just been destiny. I was destined to be in the main event, so, yeah. And I'll bump into him somewhere, someplace, and we'll probably talk shop a little bit. But, yeah, we'll see.
And I'm just curious, could you talk us through how you found out you'd be main eventing the card? Where were you? What time was it? And what went through your mind when you realized you're the official main event?
I woke up just before 8 a.m., even before my alarm. I woke up, and a minute later, the alarm went off. And I closed it off, and I saw my family Viber. My family has a Viber page that we just, group chat. And my dad posted Rob's out, and I was like, wait, what? And I clicked onto it, and there was a screenshot on Instagram. So I hit Instagram straight away, and I was like, man, that must suck. For me as a fighter, I just knew, everything aside, I knew as a fighter, like, fuck, he would be killing himself. Like, fuck, it's so close. You get so close, and it just gets ripped away from you. And even for Calvin, sucks for him as well, because, come all this way, work so hard. Think about it this way. If you're a chick and you were the guy, you stop flirting for so long, and then he comes in like 2 minutes, or doesn't come at all. I don't know, whatever. But, yeah, it just sucks. Anticlimax. The biggest anticlimax for them, so, yeah. But that's not my problem. Like I said, I came to work early, and I worked, and I'm staying late, and, yeah.
Just last one from me. Kai, Shane, and yourself pick up wins on the same card. City Kickboxing having an amazing showing. Coach Huge, everybody talking about him as one of the best coaches out there. What does it mean for you to not only just pick up a win like this over a guy like Anderson Silva, but do it with your team? How does that feel?
We were in the trenches together, us three. We were in the trenches together, working hard, working our asses off for so long. So, yeah, the fact that we all got a win, just it's history in the making, us three, and it puts NZ MMA, Australasia MMA on the map. And even for me, I found out, like in Nigeria, they were playing this live on a satellite that I used to watch as a kid, DSTV. So yeah, that's cool. This is crazy for me. I'm still in the twilight zone. I'm just like, wow, as Anderson would say, wow. But yeah, I really want to go have a shower so I can think about this properly.
Hey, Israel, just before you go and take a shower, just wondering, obviously this whole storyline here was the younger fighter versus, the legend, and afterwards it was pretty emotional for the both of you. Did this feel like a passing of the torch to you at the end of it?
Yeah, I said it. This is the end of this is the end of the first movie or the first documentary where I get to fight, the guy that brought me into the game, and even he said, he's so crafty. Even at the wins, it's like, for me to do this one more time. Many fighters have said it before, I'm done with this, and then they come back. So he wants to have one more fight in Curitiba, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He gets to have one more fight, and I get to be a fan and watch that. Or stan, because I've always been a stan regardless for Anderson Silva. But, yeah, it was cool. The best way I can describe it is just being cool, sharing space with him, playing games with him. And, yeah, I think we put on a good show for the crowd. And I don't know why they were booing. I was just like, shut the fuck up. Like, people are stupid at the end of the day. Sometimes drunk fans are just annoying me because I think we put on a good show, and they booing me when I'm talking. I'm like, shh. But, yeah, I'm not here to win fans. I'm just here to win.
One of the moments when the crowd actually did go crazy was when you hit a stance and sort of taunted Anderson. I want to say it was at the end of the first round. It was almost like a scene from The Matrix. Talk us through it. Was there any symbolism behind it? Was it from The Matrix? Was it just something you felt right at the moment?
It felt right at the moment, but it's from Naruto. So I first watched this, and Naruto's, okay, I'm going to get deep. It's a famous anime worldwide, and I got into it by watching the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight, and that was episode 48. And eventually, a year and a bit later, I started watching the series. So even at the weigh-ins, when I hit the Rock Lee stance, that was the one I hit. He stood there with his arms folded like Gaara, and I don't even think he knows who Gaara is. So then I posted this morning, like I got my crew, Black Print FX and Cut Craft. Shout out to those guys because they can do it on the dime, and they just kind of hit this highlight up of just me and my Rock Lee stance and him as Gaara, and just the similarity. Like it was just supposed to be that way. For me, it was cool, and I'm like, man, I'm playing this shit for real. And I can't remember what the sequence was at the end of the first round, but something happened and he missed, and I don't know. I can't remember. I have to watch it. I have to see it properly, and then. But I know it looked cool. That's what. And it's those moments for me. It's, like I said, this was my title fight. I got to beat the guy that took me into the, inspired me to get into the shit. But moments like that, I'm sure I've seen a picture already with me standing there with that stance, him right there, or there'll be more. Those little moments in time, the photos, the videos like that, I like those. And yeah, I won't say I live for those, but I like to collect those moments, and that was a cool moment for me.
I now want to take a shower, so I'll combine the next two. Dominic Cruz was sort of saying on the broadcast that he'd like to see you face Jacare next. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Kelvin and Rob. You've sort of taken the stance here that it's Kelvin or Rob next. Would you, for you, is it a case where you would be willing to wait out until you get that next shot, and if someone like Jacare was offered, you would prefer to wait? And also, in timeline-wise, you've had a lot of fights recently, and you originally wanted to take that break after New York. You stuck around. Do you feel like that break's coming, or do you feel like you can't really afford to, given the situation at the moment?
I can afford to. I can afford to do what I want right now because, like I said, I think from, was it Vegas? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a break, and then okay, and I get itchy knuckles. Oh, I'll do New York, all right. And then I was supposed to go to Europe and do a little tour, and then this fight came along, and I just felt I can't say no to this, so I did it. And now I'm like, I don't know, how many, it's 5 fights to the day. I did this shit last year, this time last year, this exact day in Perth. So, yeah, and I still had my Europe trip postponed for March or April. Was it March? Oh, my PA knows. But for me, for some reason, I'm just like, fuck it. Probably a couple grand I'm going to lose on it, but fuck it. I really want to go back home. I want to go back to Nigeria. So there's an election happening in a couple days, and it's probably not going to be smart to go over there during the election times because I know my people. But definitely March, April, I want to go back to Nigeria and just touch down. I feel like, whatever reason, home's calling me. It's just, I can feel the beacon coming. I need to go home. So I'm going to go home to Nigeria probably March, April. Yeah, so I can wait out for however long I need to because I've done so much for the company. I've played my part, and I'm the #1 contender. You know, Jacare can fight Calvin. Oh, they already fought already. Get a rematch. I don't know. I don't care. I showed up to work. That's all I know.
Izzy, you were saying this week that it just felt like any other fight week. Your body sort of knows when it's time. But when you got in the cage, did it actually feel like that, or was it just another fight?
Yeah, it just felt like another fight. You know, there's moments in this fight, like when I was coming out, I didn't really, for whatever reason, when I walked out, I felt like a reptile. I felt like I was in enemy territory, and I could feel my eyes, like rapid eye movement. I was dialed in. It helped me, though. It helped me find the shots early, and I was able to rock him in the first round, like 2 or 3 times. But, yeah, it felt like I was in enemy territory because, I mean, worldwide, everyone loves Anderson Silva. So, but it doesn't make any difference to me wherever we are. You know, you saw me tell the crowd where to go when I thought they were against me. I don't really care. I'm just, yeah. It just felt like any other place, any other fight. But it was cool. It was not just any other fight. This was history in the making. This was fun.
And some people were saying that Anderson hasn't fought in 2 years. He's 43 years old. He's going to be too slow. His reaction time looked pretty good in there. What did you think of it?
Not in the first round, but in the second round, there was there was 2 jabs. The first one blinded me, came from the hip, and that one came fast, and I was like, oh, shit. And second one, I was like, all right. And I was trying not to touch my eye, but he saw it. He's a vet. He saw it. So I did something, and he tried to put the pressure on. And, yeah, definitely our styles are different. The way he attacked me was different from how I would attack someone else. Yeah. Excuse me. He was good. He's still a guy that he still got it. He's still with it. Some of his attacks, I like. There's something he did that I've kind of done by accident before. The way he checked my kick, and I was like, "Ooh, that was nice." So I'm gonna steal that off him. Excuse me. There it is. And yeah, he still got it. Make no mistake. People were saying like, "Oh, you're gonna go easy on the Spider." I was going in there, hopefully take him out, but I'm not stupid. I'm not like everyone else he's fought, where he beckons them on and then I fall into the spider's web.
Thanks.
Israel. You said before the fight you knew Anderson better than he knew himself. Was there anything that surprised you in the fight, though?
Let me think about that one. Hold up. Anything that surprised me in the fight? that jab came really fast. In the second round, that was surprising because it made me have to get on my bike. But yeah, that was about it. But everything else, like I was able to read when he called me on, when he put his hands down, telling me to hit him. I'm not stupid. I've seen so many people fall for his tricks. So I wasn't going to fall for his tricks again.
Lastly, you hinted before the fight as well that you might go in the octagon after the main event.
Man, that was the plan with me and Dana. So after Rob and Kelvin would have fought, I said, what happens is I come back out. Not like DC and Brock Lesnar on some like, oh, I'm going to push you and whoa, you know, like some fake WWE shit. I just wanted to stand there and hopefully if Rob won and just face off for like 30 seconds intensely. And I felt like that would have set that place on fire. That would have just hyped up the next fight straight away if he wasn't too hurt, you know, because it could have been a war. Kelvin's no joke. So, yeah. That was the plan, but unfortunately, variables happen, and I was the main event. So, I mean, those pay-per-view points got to go somewhere. So, yeah, we'll see.
Israel, congratulations on the fight. First off, who's your favorite Naruto character? I'm also a big fan.
Rock Lee, just because of that first fight. And definitely, he's going to go on my calf, on the back of my calf as a character. I've got Toph on my forearm from Avatar. So, yeah, Rock Lee's my favorite. And I like him because he works so hard because obviously he's a taijutsu specialist, everything physical because he doesn't have any ninjutsu. So I like the way he works. I love his ninja way. I love the way I like the story behind him. And I like it when he gets drunk and he uses the drunken fist. That's cool. So I respect that. Thanks, bro.
And you fought some of the best strikers in the world. How does Anderson Silva compare to the other fighters you're fighting in kickboxing and Thai boxing?
As a striker, definitely one of the best. He could definitely do kickboxing if he wanted to. I've seen it too many times. Like a lot of the stuff, even the bounce, when he started to decide, I want to attack now. I'm like, oh, he's about to attack. All right, get ready. Switch back to and I could listen to my corner as well, and I could hear what they were saying, and it was clear as day. So, yeah, I saw his leg after the fight was bruised up from the leg kicks, but he didn't show it. He didn't show it at all. Yeah, he's just a legend in this game, a living legend. You can't take anything away from that.
You're known as the Black Kiwi, mate, up the back here. And you've spoken about Nigeria and going home. UFC's never been to Africa. Maybe that's something that you might want to look into. What do you think about that?
Me and Dana talked about a lot of things in that room for about 40 minutes. That came up as well. And like I said, DSTV put the fight on live. My dad was getting calls and texts while he was watching the fight, you know, of people like, you know, giving him props, giving us props. So, and I've said this as well, I'm the runt of my people. I am the runt of my people. If you take the football away from some kid and you give him like skills of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, we already have good boxers, maybe some kickboxing or whatever. Man, Africans are crazy, and also with limited resources as well in some of those areas. So that's definitely something that's going to happen in 2020 or 2021. It might be in South Africa first. It doesn't have to be Nigeria first, but South Africa already have ESC. Hey, brother, XA, what time, XA? I see the boy in the back there. They're just talking to the brother in the back. We're just chilling. Yeah, EFC is already in South Africa as an established promotion. I was supposed to fight on there once at one point, but it fell through back in the day. But yeah, Cape Town, UFC Cape Town would be cool. Joburg. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome just to have like some rumble in the jungle type shit, you know?
Hey, Israel, right here. Congratulations on your fight. I know that there's a really big artist out there right now called Lush Sucks, and you have that amazing mural of you and Anderson Silva and the new mural in front of St. CC. Given your fight tonight, what does that mean to you to have that mural up forever?
Oh, it's not forever. It'll get buffed down real quick. I know that. But this thing, even with this is one thing I love about cities like Melbourne. It's very cultural with this with artists, you know, like, and places for whatever reason want to always just buff them down and take them away. But I feel just keep adding more. I'm not saying it should be here forever. Like, do something else. Let it be there. Let people express, because I feel like it brings characters to the buildings, to the cities. But that's just me, and it's just cool. I've met Lush Sucks. I know his name. I can't say it, but I've met the guy a couple times now. And he's cool. He's a nice guy. He came tonight actually. He's just respect to him just for showing love, and I show love back, and just to. Because I'm a creative as well. I can draw. I can't use a can. I suck. I keep dripping. But I can sketch. I can use Illustrator, InDesign, bit of Photoshop, and I know the time it takes to do work like that. So for whenever, even on Instagram, people do fan art of me. I appreciate. I don't see all of it, but I appreciate it because I know the time and the effort it takes to put into drawing my mug. On a piece of paper, and I know I never draw faces because they're hard to do. So respect to them, and I appreciate it.
Sweet, thank you.
Hey, Israel, right in front. Something you might have not noticed. You mentioned about the fans booing you after you were speaking, but something was on the big screen. It was actually Kelvin Gastelum on the big screen wearing Henry Cejudo's belt that he borrowed. So they were more booing him. Than you. There was a lot of support for Anderson Silva in the house.
I don't care. But for me, when I was talking, I just heard boos. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you booing?
They were booing Calvin.
Yeah. Oh, well.
There you go. But
what do you call it? What's the thing? Casualties.
Yeah.
They're all casualties at the end of the day. Trust me, they can turn on me, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't, like, individually, one-on-one, we can be cool, but I know people in the group have a tendency to just get stupid. I've seen it happen too many times, and even last time, not last time, but I think I was here for Rousey Holm, and I saw how things changed after she got knocked out, and people just straight away turned on her. So that could have easily been me tonight. People, they wait for you. They want to build you up so they can let you fall. And it's weird. It's a weird thing with humans, but whatevs. I don't care. Boo me, cheer me, whatever. I'm still going to be here.
You mentioned that you didn't know where he got the belt or borrowed the belt. Again, it was Henry Cejudo's. But what are your thoughts on him wearing the belt all day, and his comments basically saying that he's the champ now by forfeit? What are your thoughts on that?
This ain't wrestling. This ain't high school wrestling. This is MMA. This is the UFC. So those rules don't apply here. But let me see. I don't know. He has a point. He does have a point. But I think sit it out, fight Rob, and then the winner can fight me.
As a fan, who do you think Anderson should fight next?
Okay, he said Nick Diaz, but we've seen that. I don't want to see that again. Let me think. You guys have time. Hold up. Let me think. I know he and Machida are friends, but that would have been a good fight, so they won't fight. But Cannonier, maybe? I want to see him again. I want to see him in action again because I feel like I haven't seen enough of him. And stylistically, if they were going to fight, I have to think about that one. But Cannonier, what's his name? Cannonier or one more. Let me think. One more. If he goes up to 205, let me think. Who at 205? I have to think about the last one, but either Cannonier or Machida. But I think, is Machida still in the UFC? Oh, damn it. Scott Coker. Not jokes. But, yeah, either one. I don't know. Anderson can do whatever he wants. He's cool.
And just a final one from me. Again, we learned in this presser that Anderson's going to spend a few more days and possibly go swimming with the Sharks. Is it something that you might want to do with him?
He already swam with a shark tonight inside the cage. But, yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He can go swim with the sharks, fly with the birds, wrestle with an alligator, whatever. Me, I'm just going to go have a shower. That's the first thing on my mind. Really, really, really want to go let that water run over me.
Well, have a good one again. Thanks again.
Easy. Shankui, good work, team. Yay. Shut up, Jeff.